Welcome to another episode of the Grove Podcast. Today we have Pastor Clint back again.
What you looking at?
What you looking at?
I didn't know who you were talking to.
I gotta talk.
I didn't see. It was in the dark.
I gotta talk to the people.
Didn't see, go ahead. Hello, world.
We'll edit all that
I can't
out.
look at you. Go ahead.
We're back with another episode. Pastor Clint,
Hey.
how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. So we've got a couple things coming up in the life of our church, and I wanted to just kind of use this podcast today, use this episode as more of a commercial, kind of what's going on
Go ahead.
coming up in the future. All right, so let's talk parenting in the gospel. It's coming up February 9th.
February the 9th.
Yep, here at the Malloy Creek campus. And Don Whitney is coming in. Can you give us a little bit about Don Whitney, where he's from, what's happening there?
Yeah, Don Whitney sort of made his mark in the evangelical world and the convention when he wrote his book on spiritual disciplines. That sort of brought him to the forefront. And then he wrote another one on prayer, praying the Bible, and then one having to do with family worship. He is the professor of biblical spirituality at Southern Seminary, and really just a well-known speaker, leader, great guy. He's a good friend of mine, and so he's going to be here, and he'll do what he's written about when it comes to family worship.
Okay, and there's 2 sessions that evening, and he'll have the whole time to just talk with us and lead us during that time.
And we were very fortunate that he could come. When I called him, he had one date, and that was it.
Wow.
And so it worked out really well.
Now, he came and did our staff retreat one time, came and spoke with us, and just did a really great job. But he's interesting in the fact that, y'all have this thing, y'all like the pens.
Well, now, I'm not,
He's next level.
You're right. He's next level. I do like a good fountain pen.
Right.
But he's given him.
You brought.
That's right. That's the Mandarin laying there. You see that golden sunshine.
Like, hello.
Yeah. He loves fountain pens. He changes inks. He watches YouTube videos. He knows the ins and outs. He studied handwriting. He's given himself fully to fountain pens.
I remember we were going to go eat one night, and he had to run across the street to a little paper shop or whatever, and they sold pens there. It was interesting to see his love for stationery and pens and stuff. Anyway, all of his parenting stuff, family worship stuff. I've read those books. They're great books. They're great tips, ideas, all those things from Scripture. I think it's great. It's going to be a good time for our families.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great having him here. Be good for our church.
Definitely. So that's coming up February 9th, Malloy Creek campus. The other thing I wanted to talk about was we're coming up on your birthday, where you will be, at that point, well over 50.
51.
Well over 50. This is, So we're going to celebrate you.
Not on my birthday.
Not on your birthday, but this is a celebration for, I guess, maybe somewhat of your birthday, maybe, but also for you being here, for being our pastor for 10 years.
No, this has nothing to do with my birthday. I'm going to be here for 10 years.
Yeah, but it's just all the same thing.
You just brought that up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Forget the birthday part.
It was just fun. Fun to bring up how old you are. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah.
So, your 10-year anniversary, just give me some highlights, some of the high points from just the past 10 years of your life, being at Hickory Grove, seeing just the tremendous amount of change that's happened.
It's been something. Yeah, this is the longest I've stayed at a church. My first 2 churches were about 3.5 years. You're in seminary, and you're there just learning how to do it. And then I spent 5 years on staff here at Hickory Grove as a preaching pastor, but just for the Harris campus. And then I came back. I was away for 6 years. I came back in 2010, and it's been something. It's been a lot of hard work. The Lord's been kind. He has sustained us. We've seen a significant change in our church without the thing imploding. The big fear you have is if you're making or leading some of the changes and they've got to be sort of fundamental changes, how do you find the threshold? And when you do, how do you keep from going too far into that threshold and damaging the church? When your intent is to provide a real sense of lasting, sort of long-term health for the church. And that's been our struggle. It's been our desire to see just see the church be strong and healthy for the next 25 years.
You know, something that that a lot of churches do oftentimes is when you go to kind of make any sort of shift or change with some things that you want to do in your church, you can kind of look to another church, find someone who's doing that, kind of been there, done that, and you know, talk to them, call them, figure out some of the things that they've done, some of the things that kind of come up that they weren't expecting, whatever. But for us,
yeah, we didn't have many folks we could call and talk to.
right?
Just because of our situation. So Hickory was sort of classically the church that grew up in the church growth movement. We used everything to get there. And then when that sort of fell off, what do we do now? And there are just not many in front of us that we can model ministry after. So we've had to piecemeal some of that. It's been trial and error. We've learned a lot from other churches that stylistically, size-wise, background are different than we are. Just sort of put a whole lot of stuff together.
I remember something else you said a while back when we used the cruise ship battleship thing before, and the whole idea of changing from a cruise ship to a battleship that's a big deal in and of itself. But we had to kind of do it. I think you said out to sea. We didn't get we didn't have a chance to kind of push pause and fix some things.
If you're going to use the analogy, you're going to change a ship like that. You bring it in, it's in dry dock, and you fix everything, and then you send it back out. What we are attempting to do is provide the changes and lead in that change without sinking the thing. We had to make the changes while we were out at sea. I mean, the machine still has to be fed. There's still things that have to go on. We still got to keep the lights on.
That's right.
And so that was, part of the struggle. Not just the change, how to change without damaging.
That's good. Thinking about maybe the next several years, what does that look like for you, just as far as our senior pastor, your vision for the church, what you want people to know and think and feel and be like?
Yeah, we talked about some of that a couple of weeks ago in the church, using some of the wording from the book we recommended, Habits of Grace. So wanting people to hear God's voice, to have God's ear. We added to meet with God's people and share God's message. And so really we're trying to build in disciplines into individuals that then will be reflected corporately of reading and knowing the Bible and spending time in prayer and then learning to share Christ and then really valuing being together as a congregation, which is not something that's pushed a whole lot. We're seeking to do that to show this is really a really important part of being the church is gathering to worship. So it's my prayer that in the next 10 years, 15 years or so, our church will continue to strengthen in that regard, that those kind of means of grace provide long-term sustainability. So it's not built on a personality, it's not built on a program or a trend. We're trying to build the health of our church on some of those things that have been around from the very beginning.
Yeah, the best part about all of this is seeing a lot of our people and their desire to understand the Bible, to read the Bible, first of all.
Right, just to read it.
Just open it up and read it every day. We have Bible plans that we've given out and that we've encouraged our people to read along with us, but also understanding the gospel and being able to share it everywhere they go.
You just be able to articulate the gospel.
Right.
Was a big challenge is get people to where they could say with confidence what it is they believe about the gospel and how someone goes from not being a Christian to actually being a Christian. What is the transaction that happens and how do they get there?
The crazy thing for me is I remember having conversations with people. I'll ask the question, when was the last time you shared your faith? Or when was the last time you led someone to the Lord? Blank stare. And I'm thinking, okay, some of these guys have been Christians for a long time.
Right.
And it's not something necessarily to be ashamed of, but it's definitely something you can say, hey, we can make improvements on this. And it's neat to see how, as we've made a lot of these changes over the past 10 years, I've been here 10 years now. I think I beat you here by about 6 months.
You came in August, and I came in January.
So it was neat to see how a lot of people have grown in understanding the Bible, sharing their faith, wanting to tell people about the Lord. And I think a lot of that has happened just in the past 10 years with a lot of the changes we've made as a church.
Yeah, we still got a lot to do. One of the things we want to focus on is making membership mean something. So part of the 80s and 90s approach to doing church that everybody did was inflate the memberships. You're trying to get as many people as possible to join, which is a good thing to do.
Sure.
But if there's no follow-up, people aren't growing, then you end up having a whole lot of people on a roll and very few growing, or at least the ratio is way off. And we want to do a better job of correcting that.
Yeah, I remember telling a friend when my wife and I were praying through coming here or whatever, someone was like, "Man, is that a big church?" I said, "I think it is. It's got like 16,000 people on roll."
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've never seen that many
The
people
Lord
here.
might even have to squint to find those people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's bad.
That was good. That was good. So, seeing our people get to the point where they can share the gospel, live on mission, and do the whole life on life.
How about not using that language? I don't want to be doing life together. I don't
It's
want to
good.
be loving on one another.
It's good.
It's bad to talk like that. It's
Life
weird.
on life
It's weird.
is good. You've led us to
Let's
this,
love
Pastor.
on one another.
Let's
Let's
we
not.
want to
I don't want to love on each other.
Yeah, no, you've done
Can
a
we
great.
just love each other?
You've done a great job with loving on us, living life
I haven't been loving
with
on you.
us, and all that. Man, it's been awesome.
Stop that talk now.
We learn from you, and so it's been it's been great. So we also have another big change coming to the Malloy Creek campus is the school. So we had Dr. Questenberry was on several weeks ago and talked a lot about the school, and he kind of spoke from the headmaster, principal, whatever point of view.
Be head of school. A lot
Head
of
of
people
school.
call it. Yeah.
Head of school. But talk to us a little bit about from the pastoral side of it, from being a senior pastor, looking at it, thinking, okay, here's this school that's going to come into our church.
Yeah, well, our intent, Hickory Grove Christian School started 25 years ago. Thank the Lord for the success over the years that it's been here with us. We decided to move and have another extension of it at our Malloy Creek campus. We want it to be a classically Christian education, so that when kids come here, they're learning some of the classic disciplines along with being saturated with the gospel. So that when they're learning to read what the Bible says, but also the classics. So that we're building a really good foundation for our kids. I think it's a great opportunity for our church to provide that kind of classic Christian education. What we've striven to do is to make sure we're not really just having a really good school that's like a really great public school where you can take prayer requests.
Right.
And call it a Christian school.
Right.
We want it to be one that is fundamentally from top to bottom, honoring to the Lord, good for kids, points them to the gospel, and saturates their hearts and minds with the gospel.
Absolutely. And we're in a good spot. Our Malloy Creek campus, with 485, being completely,
Right.
well, it's been done for years now, but it's kind of made us a regional place, not just a neighborhood kind of church.
That's right.
Whatever. So
Yep.
people all in that kind of northeast area of Charlotte can get here to us
Right.
relatively quickly and easily, and that's really good. So we are looking forward to the school coming to the Malloy Creek campus. It's going to be great. It'll be this fall. I'm sure you can look online and find any sort of information you need as far as getting connected there. So a couple open houses I think are even happening. Anyway, Pastor, I knew today was going to be short. I just wanted you to speak a little bit to those
short.
things.
It's good for it to be short.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Sometimes
don't like-
it's too long.
Sometimes it's too long?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's it, folks. So, Pastor, as always, thanks for being here today. Appreciate your heart, appreciate your desire to help parents teach their kids and grow in the gospel and raise their families right. It's good. Thank you for your desire for our church and for each believer and their role here in the church and their role as Christians. And thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Hey, leave all that stuff at the front. Leave every
What
bit of
happened
that.
at the front?